think that's going to be something that could be really interesting on the day of. So heading into this, we will. All right. Okay, Gomps. I like this a lot more. Get to see the Rays coming out. I think this is what can really set Timotino up for success.
This is good. I genuinely do love Timotino playing on the Neon, or I see that last time they had played actually the Waylay. So yeah, actually get that out of here. I don't want to see it ever again. So yeah, Rays, good. Let's roll with it. And the expectations are high for me for Timotino. We didn't get to see them shine too much. I would say they were getting shut down pretty heavily by Elim playing on that chamber, right? Firsthand picks and engagements just being given freely over to QOR. But this is good. I like the idea of having that extra source of damage util being thrown out and sourcing that space to them for TSM, because that does feel like what it was lacking.
It's interesting to see this change for TSM. It's been about a month since they last played this map against Legacy Kingdom and won 13-2 or lost 13-4. Like Sierra mentioning, a little bit of that. My cat is muting me, by the way. That Waylay that was getting played, but a lot of teams and challenges that was not finding any success. So going back to a little bit, something that is a little bit more standard. I still have my questions on what Seven is going to be doing here with the Sage and how they can turn that into an actual win condition. But on the other side, I just gotta say, QOR and what they've been doing here is very good. So keep your eyes on that.
I definitely think QOR might have a bit more of an advantage into this, but a lot of tools here to try and slow down Alim, who had a banger of a first game. Let's see if it's enough here for TSM to try and get this upset and tie this series up. Lotus is ready, so let's head it back over to your casters. Take it away, Uber and Wyatt.
Thank you very much, gang. Yeah, okay, the double Senti from TSM here, and the Sova also in the mix. This is a bit of a fruity composition, Wyatt.
Yeah, it is quite interesting. I'm trying to think of the last time we've seen some real Sage on Lotus, and it's not coming to mind because you just don't really see Sage on Lotus very much. So I'm down though. I'm down to see what they got. Obviously, they have a crazy amount of stall with this comp between having your Vice throwing down the thorns and your Sage slowing down, throwing the slows. That's going to be very obnoxious for QOR, especially for your Neon. You're going to be getting stalled constantly trying to get into the sites. I mean, so let's see how that plays out.
How are TSM supposed to fight Rubble with this setup, right? I mean, they're
just throw a slow orb at the door, basically. Like,
yeah,
I mean, honestly, yeah. Like, if you just throw a slow at the door, they can't get out outside of. Well, I mean, okay, your Neon and your Omen can beat that timing, but if they do, you know they're going to be Rubble or pushing forward, and no one's going to really be able to swing off them unless they both go together straight to beat the slow orb timing.
Shout out to Ambrosia for the free promo, by the way. This is obviously QOR TSM map 2.
Oh,
all right, you're right.
Bro, he's fast. He's so fast.
Bro is sat on top of that. That's crazy. Alan, though, very quick. He does beat the timing. Yep. I mean, this is fair. I mean, there's obviously a lot of stall, like you mentioned. We did get to watch Darkest standing on top of that very slow orb. So I guess it feels similar to maybe like a C's setup. Might be a little more possible to avoid the follow-up nade, but fair enough. Very interesting looks here. TSM playing more to the outer edges of the map, with the exception of Gimon, who actually gets up inside this dark cover. But QOR they've seen enough.
Alvin has pushed all the way out of C and is definitely going to need to find himself in a situation where he gets a kill and lives, or gets 2 kills, or maybe even 3. He's got to do something, Mitch. He's got to do something on this flank, because I don't really see the impact coming from the other players at this point.
Alvin is a really conservative player, I've noticed, on these flanks. He's probably like the other end of the spectrum to Net, for example. He very much, even when he's like the loose end of the site, on the attack side, we saw it on Icebox, he didn't really ever ask for too much, just maintained presence and watched for push-ups. So yeah, again, it's very slow and steady. He wants the saber rattling to obviously come from Gimon and Timo here, who also have to clear Rubble manually. So yeah, Gimon doubles back there. Good paranoia. That's a bloody good paranoia. Alam tries to circumvent that by getting up close, but he gets flattened. Tuesday, though, beautiful right click. He's in a good spot. Alvin finally gets active and it pays off. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. TSM convert on the 3v4. Caught outside of the map a lot of the time, and really, down to the last moment, able to get it. Well, okay, it's 4.68 seconds. Let's get real. But yeah, really taking their time.
yeah.
Alvin on that late flank.
Reasonable amount of time to get that defused, but I know what you're saying. I'm with you. Yeah, pretty bizarre pistol round, not gonna lie. I mean, I think we're getting, was that a team paranoia? We're getting flashed and we're still sliding into multiple players. That was Alan was kind of doing the most there. And then on the flank, Alvin's just isolating 1v1s. Things getting very disjointed for Core in that post plant and TSM win the duels.
Now, obviously, I posed the question to Wyatt at the start of this map.
Darkest moment.
Oh, okay, bro. All right. Timo sees Alan coming, or at least feels him coming. Spidey senses may be tingling. And yes, the slow orb to fight for Rubble was really quite nice last round. You did mention, I mean, you caught it really well. There was obviously a couple of players that could beat that particular timing. Darkest, though, we've gone for, once again, yeah, the Outlaw upgrade, but 7 gets everything. 2 kills, wall thrown up, fighting tree. You know he wants a bit of argy-bargy, but a little out of range. Still able to take the kill on the second shot. Pretty clean, all things considered there from TSM. It's all about the judge play outside of A.
And they get a free Outlaw upgrade. Yeah, that's the Darkest special. Loves that second round Marshall / Outlaw. That has always been his little trademark as a player. But it has resulted in him having a really bad buy for round 3, sadly. Sally for a limb goes down in that fashion.
7 benefiting there from his teammate taking the heat off him. Quite nice in general. So TSM obviously a few options. I do like the idea of being a rat spotter Sage, taking the kill and then walling up after the fact. This is a pretty determined fight for Rubble. So clearly, I'm not familiar with the TSM's game here. They just control that A side and even throw up a Sage wall after the fact, now freeing themselves up for a B retake.
Core have gone very fast into this C site. It was just all speed through mound. Not a lot of defensive utility to contend with, and the retake effort is not well armed, to say the least. So Core really should be able to get their first round on the board here.
I know of getting himself that Odin very early on, and it's pretty effective when it comes to that spam off the site. Darkest can fall off. There's plenty of utils still available. They have the paranoia part of that package. Still a aftershock here as well to do an attempt at a defuse, but Nerve is not moving. He is sat up on that corner. TSM are going to have to fight tooth and nail for this one. With the Judge and the Stinger, they just need to close the gap first and foremost. Tuzi, though, down. That's the omen. Time short, though. Again, TSM really like to push us to the death of the round. And now when they have to face the music against these better weapons, they crumble.
Yeah, they were just severely outgunned there with the scoped weapons and having the shotgun on the retake. It's just wraps. Core just stay in the site, but play at range, have delay utility as well. Nice paranoia. The Tuzi was able to connect on 3 players, so make it look very, very easy. And, well, it's time to see how far the Brock Odin dominance expands across America. Will we get 4 Odins in this server? We've got 2 right now. 7 is always, to be fair to 7, he's always been an Odin abuser player. Can't take that away from him, you know?
And honestly, Brock cooked that style in challenges, so he was put up against players just like 7 on more than one occasion, and put that to the test frequently. Alvin, I think expecting Alam here to jump at least to try and clear the shear. Oh no, no shear. Alvin just says, come at me, brother. Takes him out. The shield wall's actually over on the B side in B main. That's not checked earlier on. Darkest, though, does now see it. Oh, that was costly, wasn't it? Trying to just make a peek to draw it out. Vora is waiting.
Yeah, I mean, that's a bit of a risk with nothing to cover him up, trying to get the wall out. That's a bold move. It does not pay off.
Not right.
Alvin has barely moved from the spot.
Now, at this point in the round, if you're going into this C site, you have to deal with the thorns. That is going to be a lot of stall util. Be very easy for TSM to rotate more players here if they need to. And they will.
Correctly. He must have assumed Tuzi would start to make a move. Watch out for the spam, though. Never found a kill in this similar position last round. TSM give up the site. Quite happy to do so. They've got a lot of that sofa util they can actually make use of. A couple of them saying that on a map like this. There's the plant. 7 chunked low. Obviously trying the challenge from Waterfall. 3 full health players on the core side, or mostly. Tuzi did take some incidental damage. Another smoke here to continue to stall out to make that, yep, it's going to be refreshed. Push up on the site for TSM is going to be costly, and they've already lost Timo now as well. Seven's moved up from Waterfall here, but Logan's found yet another one. The drop down from Tuzi. He's given up a good position, but Nerve steps in where he's needed. And this post plant, so good for Core. And they lock it down. TSM, on that retake, feeling a little bit overwhelmed.
Felt like TSM had more util to disrupt them, but it just didn't really get the value. The recon went in. I didn't see where the nade went from Timotino. No, they had that as well. Ultimately, just did not matter. Core just stuffed them at the chokes, fight them while they're run out here.
I mean, again,
yeah, I mean, there's just really nothing coming their way in terms of the utility, but you know, I suppose that is also going to be the case when you are going up against a flashless comp. You don't have to turn around. You can just look at the chokes and shoot them. So that's also pretty helpful.
So no rubble fight this time from TSM. Again, just not really the weaponry for it, trying to cheese it up over towards that tree side. Okay, Imon's able to dig Nerve out on the flank, and Alan wants to make sure the gun's not recovered. So ends up taking the trait. Now the spike, though, is starting to get moving over towards this A side, but the action that happened in C is actually dragging some TSM players back. The second player spotted at that C extremity made them think twice about whether this would end A, and that's given a window, a small slip of their net for Core to get in here.
And they have heard at least one of those rotates. There was a lot of noise being made by Timotino over here, so they can certainly expect 2 players.
Fault line and paranoid follow up. Yeah, this side is getting hit very, very hard. Tuzi able to follow up on that setup. And 7 now will just have the dances relay. Oh, okay. Get you one. Get you one.
Just playing Minecraft.
Got mine.
Just built himself a little hut in the back. Respect. Got his.
He got farmed like a villager for emeralds, though. Now, of course, with a steel garden active, there's just 0 reason to commit that into a 1 versus 3, so Alvin will just walk the smoke. What? No! Alvin able to swing! Alvin low, 24, gets a better weapon though. How about them apples? Alvin low has to back away. Alvin may have opened the ridiculous opportunity here. Alvin trying to stay safe and has to commit the ultimate to stay alive. That is far too close for comfort.
That was outrageous. Oh my god.
He just walked out.
We were moments away, inches away from even more absurdity. Alm was so close to dying just then.
Bro, he popped overdrive to stay alive. Bro, he was, right, the fear had gotten him, dude. What is this? Oh, that was... I'm sorry, this series, for a myriad of different reasons, is completely absurd. What we saw in Icebox, and now already on Lotus, we've seen absolute insanity. Alvin, however, as the story breaks, is not able to take that round away for TSM. I probably would have fallen off my chair, but has a steel garden for the next round. It is a buy round, of course, for TSM. They've called a timeout to try and play around this now. I want to note that TSM will be contending with a Rolling Thunder and a Nightfall in this round. So it's a little bit tricky. If they allow there to sort of be a post-plant setup, they're going to be heavily disrupted.
Man, it's so rare that we see a double initiator comp on this map. It is the rarest right now in the meta. But so far, so good for Core, and I am just still impressed by Allen. He is just still on fire today. Looks like TSM want to go for the full rubble fight. A little slow into the nade, perhaps. Let's see what they got.
There's the slow. Core, though, respect it. But this lets 7 get right up close and personal. Rolling Thunder, though, is going to open this up a little bit more. The wall timing, legendary. They're still going to be able to break through it, though, but TSM had a chance to recover. They bought themselves the breathing room with the Sage Wall of all things. And 7's feeling himself. Why wouldn't you be? Darkest down by Gimond. He's 3rd of the round, and Nerve is not getting out of here alive. I'll give you that one for free. Logan now has to return to an absolute disaster scape.
It's a hilarious counterplay. And then they try to push out behind it and they get reconned. That is devious. That's a crazy play.
And not one of those ultimates has to be committed on offense or other on defense here by TSM. Not a single
horrible trade deal for Core. Rolling Thunder for the Sage Wall.
You get 4 kills, I get humiliated. It's rough. I guess like they do. I think they break up the Sage Wall to some degree, but it's just utter pandemonium for that 1.5 seconds where they're realizing what is in front of them.
And it's fine for, I mean, it's a perfectly fine idea for Core as well. They did have the read on the situation, which is that TSM are just going to walk a couple players forward, probably post up, try to get back towards Rubble corner, and just ult as soon as the slow orb goes away, run at them. But you know, that is too funny.
Okay, I'm very sold on the Sage play. I'm not going to lie. I generally don't think, in my modest Valorant casting career, I've sort of seen it used on this map at this level.
And perhaps that was a wall placed due to the new buff. How far away was he? Oh, he's miles away, man. That's actually that is actually like the recent wall buff coming into play. 7 is yards away from that position.
Bro, how am I asking how they're going to fight Rebel, bro? The greatest foreshadowing ever. All right.
It looks like they're doing it again. Nade back Rebel if they cross to beat the slow orb, and they're right into the nade.
Yeah, Tuesday took a hit from that one. 7 just flattens him though. And from above at Cimatino. Not a opportunity at all to even know what was hitting him for Alum. Slow orb, I think, was thrown back behind Rubble. Damn, bro, TSM have got, bro, they got some hands on his A side of the map, dude.
Core are trying to ego them so hard. They're trying to nightfall out. But guys, did you see what happened last time? Like, you got destroyed by the one wall. This time they try to nightfall out, get equally as destroyed.
We haven't seen TSM on this map for a hot minute. And they've been cooking. They've absolutely... Bro, MBS is on something, dude. Darksteer has to wager something here, and a flawless round. A bit of self-defibrillation there from Gimon. I think maybe some of the audience might have needed it too after the last couple of rounds. Puts TSM in the lead, still with a healthy back of ultimates to leverage.
It was a really sick ult, but... yeah, it's just the same thing. Everyone's stalled out by the slow in main. If you try to cross fast to Rubble, you're going to eat the paint shells. And they're using a Nightfall to try to support the players that are out there, but 3 of them can't even help. They're stuck. They're slowed.
Looked like, yeah, Alum at least wasn't affected by a slow wall. I thought one might have been thrown a little deeper. That wasn't the case, but there was no chance of back up him. I love this fast play, though, in towards C door. And no need for a commitment. Now, again, we've seen Shield will go to the B side of the map, so if Core expecting this, they don't have to slow down. Just accelerate into the side for him. Tries to catch him, but Alvin is having a game. Not enough there to stop Core in their track. Still guarded. Comes out, maybe not the time he was looking for. The Sheriff's just sung for Core in the end. And now Timo, able to skirt around the edge of the steel garden from Logan, still will have to deal with the Razor Vine in his way.
Honestly,
now take a 1v2.
Vine pretty important. It just even keeps him off the line from being able to throw a paint shell onto the planter.
Well, that was anticlimactic, wasn't it?
Yeah, it really was. And that is what the Odin does to the game. Not very exciting.
Me when I run into a 1v2, Odin held on the side. It's tough out there, folks.
All right, well, pretty cool opening, though, from Core. They, hey, that's what happens when you run a breach. Your Neon gets to go really fast. You stun some people. You get some kills. Pretty cool.
Right. I'm sold. Now, that was the Nightfall committed a couple of rounds back as well, and a steel garden from both sides here. So a bit of a trough ult-wise. Remember last round, it was just a really fast hit on towards C. This time, a B side that's not open, but again, you still will be stalled out maybe slightly. So that shield wall, yep. It does look like Darkest is still trying to walk up on that side. So it leaves Alum as a loose end, but he can still do damage in that position. Timo caught up on the corner, couldn't get away. Still gets his one though. Tuesday has to TP across this Razor Vine. He wants this seaside control. He's going to have it, but at the cost of Nerve, who's cut down on the way in. Logan though picks a great time to swing that doorway and leaves him at least in a decent position. But they have to fight retake against this Sage util. Oh, also this, yeah, the Rolling Thunder. would have been good to have been able to build up in this situation, but it is a Hunter's Fury from Bora. Not really convincing, though. Our drone may be even more effective as a util piece.
Now, when TSM get into backside, maybe an opportunity for Seven to try to use that res to bait someone out. Bora does have that recon to be launched into backside. Okay, they're going to use it for waterfall. Fair enough.
They're going to see nothing there. That's not shot, dealt with. Kimon tries to take the solo fight there. Dark cover again. It's such an annoying location. Breaks up the side. Logan has to find a timing here. There's no other option. And he's going to allow this to at least get to half. Oh, get out of here.
Oh,
get out.
No right to do this.
What is this game we're playing? What is this children's game?
Sometimes in challenges, right, like...
Look at all these bright colors.
Yeah, we see these like well-lit hallways, bright colors. Yeah.
Okay, go on, make your point.
Sometimes challenges, like we see some ridiculous stuff, and sometimes it's because of mistakes or things are being overlooked here. I generally think like a lot of the nut stuff we're seeing in this game can be attributed to like individual ability and just raw creativity in some of these comps and some of these setups. So I'm always glad to see that. You know, I was going to say we almost
glad
got
to see that. I'm always glad to see this, huh?
And we've got everything.
Right. Let me hold on. Let me
get it out. You need to go to a random page.
The Hobbit.
It's like original Tolkien, right? The written register is pretty old fashioned, but I'm here for it. You got to just crack a page open though.
Page 129. Actually, hold on. Wait, let's give him a second. How serious is this tech pause? I'm waiting for someone in the chat to tell me. I'm waiting for the production chat to illuminate me, provide me the information. It's but I will say that it's giving 3 players are lagging. Oh, 2-minute estimated time of arrival.
Easy.
Okay. That's nothing. We got that in the bag. This has been a fun game though with TSM's comp. And Alvin's anchoring is looking good. I like how he played that whole situation on the C site on that last round. The core go for that like split through B with Alim running through waterfall, and then he kind of just gets shot down by Alvin. Respects the fact that someone from core could actually be pushing through B, and that they didn't just activate the wall and then fully go C main.
Yeah,
you know, comes back in, gets another one.
It feels like TSM were pretty reluctant to, I don't know who saw on camera there behind it, but pretty reluctant to like hard anchor those sites early on. And also core are a little taken aback on occasion about the sheer wall placement, but Alvin is always using it over on the B side because TSM are opting to not have anybody there early in the round. They're not pushing off of it. They're also just really not attending to that side at all, committing a little bit more to the sort of extremities of the map. And core have been quite effective in post plants when they're able to get things down. So it makes sense that TSM want to commit a little bit more now in these later rounds. I think you mentioned Alvin Boys anchoring efforts that gave them a bit of an edge. I'm not saying I'm pretty happy with this if I'm TSM. Haven't shown the map for a while, like 2 months, I want to say. Core have a really quite phenomenal here. You've got yourself 5 defense-sided rounds. I'd say at least 3 of those could be attributed to ridiculousness. A 4th almost was, and Alvin wasn't quite able to convert. So you're sitting pretty right now. Buy a round up for you. Team up with the defense side up. I think you're feeling pretty good. That's just me, you know?
Yeah. I'm just seeing what Timo wanted to do there. You could see him considering. Do I go push forward? Do I play on a safe angle? He's going to play it safe. And probably for the best, because they can burst onto him so quickly with the comp that they have. It's very dangerous to be playing far up unless you're with the pack in a big group.
Oh, that's cute.
Oh, wait, they're going to use that to crunch onto him with the Odin.
I'm looking to see that happen. He's like, well, you got a boss. Nothing I can do about this. The weapons just aren't there now for core. Get another little set play. Beautifully done. There's no information for TSM about who is sort of lurking the main side. That wall, though, protects them. Man, I don't blame core for collapsing there. There's no way you're ready for that set. Logan called the wall, so he has to have known what was happening, but it's just not enough time.
Yeah, that is a devious little set play. I like it. I like what I'm seeing. Alvin's one away from getting the Steel Garden on this round, so that could be pretty pivotal as well.
Spike down.
Oy.
Spike down.
Okay, so yeah, another variation thrown here by TSM. And I've got to say, something that we really liked from them yesterday, that they were, the playbook for these guys is genuinely really deep. Not just the same thing, on defense side as well. It's a lot of like these little set plays have looked really good. Attack side calling also pretty mixed. And their opponents really struggle to answer it. That's the freaking nuts. Come on, boost up on the wall, slow orb to sort of deny an acceleration into the side after that trade goes, and Kimon can reset himself here. Now, yeah, Nightfall does connect, and it will persist, but someone's trolling behind the wall. Seven tries to open it up himself. Nerve will gun him down. Timo has the time.
Oh,
never mind. Didn't see it.
But somehow he lives too. No. All good.
Yeah, not a problem at all. Aftershock caught Vora there. Kimon speculating through that dark cover, but it's about to get heavy over on this side, and Kimon was too busy fiddling with his accoutrements. So he will be caught out in reload. Timo has a chance to redeem himself, and somehow, man, he always has the timing. Darkest response. Rolling Thunder. I like this. Alvin ahead of it. Can he make the shot? No, not clear. Darkest. What a clutch. Rolling Thunder, and I would suggest the perfect time.
Last round before the switch.
Pretty sick clutch. Unfortunate for TSM that they just get divided with the last two players there. Timo gets his and then just gets hungry to fight for that last kill, but ends up leaving Alvin alone. This was pretty insane. That little paranoia into the wall boost to get the kill onto Alum. Pretty sick.
I mean, I'm glad that we have such a juiced map here after a pretty extensive overtime and tech force bonanza in the previous. This one's definitely got me on the edge of my seat. Never know what to expect from these guys. Door opens up. Kimon is waiting. Darkest also takes a massive hit, and that slow orb makes follow-up hard to do.
Oh my God,
they're practicing his calligraphy on the wall there, and gets a splash of red as a reward. Big tree presence. Some real horticulturists on the map here, Wyatt. QOR.
When this hit comes in, Alvin does have this Steel Garden, by the way. He's in position to hit all four players with it.
All right. They're waiting for something. TSM, though, not going to move up and give them anything for the time being. Heavy pings towards that stairs side, though. They might be waiting on Logan to get moving. Prowler out. Fault line connects on Alvin Boy. Steel Garden probably gets ripped here. And so the weapon's taken away. Logan trying to get active, though. Sees Timotino into the smoke. And what a connection. The one player not inside the Steel Garden. Timo, though, with some room to breathe. Showstopper connects on the Darkest. But it still leaves Alvin solo. Versus Logan. And this guy on the Guardian been pretty bloody sharp. The second shot is good enough. Even a bit of a twitch from the man as he knows he hits right to the core. It is an even half after 12 rounds. TSM with some flashy stuff on his defense side, but QOR brought the grit.
Yeah, that was kind of ice cold from Logan. Not gonna lie. The last bullet to get that first kill right here, one tap, that was sick. And then just baits that he's running into sight, waits on the angle, posts up to take the 1v1.
Now we wait.
I like what I'm seeing. I like what I'm seeing. Now, this comp on attack for TSM, though, I don't see how they're going to be effectively fighting on attack for the space on A. I mean, you can throw, I imagine, a slow that'll stop the core team from pushing too far forward, though they can also then just stun main and the slow will expire and push up. But we'll see how it plays out when the half goes on.
Fair call out, though. Obviously,
yeah,
like you mentioned, they can beat some timings with their comp, but still.
Yeah, because QOR, they have the speed, you know? They have the speed, and they also still have the delay from the breach. And C's even from Fade. But yeah, we'll see what happens when we get to some full buys. For now, Olympus just found the timing to push all the way out of B. Are they going to check this or just make their way to C? Looks like...
looking like that Olympia winner in the middle seat on the plane, bro. Just taking all the space. And he'll be happy with that one kill. I don't know. TSM was just like, well, I guess that's the price of doing business if we try and cross-buy me without checking it. So Alan is going to have backup. There's a fault line to play off.
Yeah, love this setup.
Timing's good, but Alan didn't even need it initially. Gimon clear of the fault line, actually finds the best angle possible for that. So digs him out, and the attackers are down to 3. It would have to have been Alvin Boy doing something disgusting, and he does get the
30
kill.
seconds left.
But it again, once more is traded, and that's all Core have to do for the rest of this round. A wall, not quite solidified, should be broken through there. But a plant still for TSM.
GMD a little bit stalled up by the C's, but no opportunity to get the kill on him. I like the idea from Seven, trying to get forward, take some space elsewhere, catch a player out to even this up. Has a crossfire set up with GMD as well if he eventually goes back down to drop.
That is a big one. Seven getting up on towards that upper side now.
TSM have a
Dark
great setup right now.
And the smoke! Gimon just sees some feet! Just some dogs sticking out under it. Darkest is out of bullets, bro. Needs to reload, and Gimon is a little bit quicker. About as close as it gets here for a pistol round, but TSM again recover. They convert a player disadvantage.
That was played so well by Seven and GMD, the two OGs of this TSM team, most experienced guys. They were fantastic in that situation. I mean, Seven understood he needed to take some space towards heaven, catch out a player, and then after that, they're able to set up a crossfire. They get the smoke down. GMD even catches Tuzi crossing before that dark cover fully falls. He doesn't just put it right on the ground. He puts it in the air first, so it goes down. Maybe he can spot someone. Everything they just did there together was so well played.
And basically, Logan drew a chalk outline there of Gimon. I couldn't complete the kill, so pretty far forward smoke here. Core want to contest the space at Mound without actually wagering any individuals. It doesn't really work. It's just walked up through. It does cost an drone. I think TSM are comfortable being priced into that, at least, at this point in the round. Just the one Vice and just one Acro set up for Logan to play off of, so it needs to be damn good. Gets a confirmation, though. Backs away. Fault line here from B-side also going to stall.
Seven with that judge on the Sage is a little bit silly, but I'm here for it. There's that long-range wall coming through.
Transfer. Gimon should just TP up there, honestly.
Spike down.
All right, well, that aftershock gets in there. Alum finds Vora, though.
Still no ability to plant, but Core don't have any other delay.
Yeah, they've used it all now. Seven. This is dastardly. Okay, thought he might have caught them both.
Not
there.
great, just 1 for 1.
Yeah, would have liked more, especially against this kind of round. TSM, they brought the better weapons into the round. Need to convert it. Otherwise, this gets muddier and muddier. Nerve tucks himself around the corner, and Logan's recovered at the judge. Unfortunately, Court is not in session today. Gimon finds yet another 3-piece. And it is the X factor in TSM being able to convert on that anti-eco, but it was anything but pretty.
Yeah, on this Omen specifically, GMD is like by far and away the statistical leader of all Omens right now. He's putting up like 0.86 kills per round on the Omen in the playoffs. The next is like 0.74. This is not even close what he's doing on this controller role. That was a very sick clutch, but unfortunately, because CSM lost so many players, they're on an eco round, which is a little unlucky.
And it's going from bad to worst here. Oh, that is sharp stuff. Relay Volt connects onto Alvin, and it's an easy pickup.
Enemy remaining.
Okay, man. Give me his ace. Where's the ghost player? Gimon is wary of someone pushing offside at him. But Alum looking for his ace, and he will have it. Beautifully done. Bit of an eco bash, but honestly, can't fault the guy. Controlled that B main area like a champ.
No, I'll take it. Keep the confidence flowing. He's been on fire today. All right, now that we got the full buy, I'm just really interested to see how TSM are going to approach these early round fights for the rest of the half.
Yeah,
Are they going to... I just want to see how they try to play around all this initiator utility, how they try to get out of A, what's like what kind of pace the team is playing at. Is it just going to be slow, get into a site late, set up with all your Sage stuff? What is the move going to be?
Core here just trying to push the line of scrimmage forward on C again. And there's good conditioning for TSM. There's always someone, a potential rather, for someone to be back behind that. The one
TSM
way
on
gets
this round. They just wait out a little bit of that utility over towards A. I think there was a Prowler, and then they just slowly contact their way out after the fact.
It's expensive though. They have to use a dark cover here on Baby Door. They don't have a Viper wall to play with. This double Senti comp could be a little difficult in those cases. And okay, shield wall now triggered, and Gimon might just walk a little further, but Prowler confirms his presence mostly.
Very good paranoia, that hits both core players.
Oh, it's so good. No, oh, has a chance to respond though. A rare little flub there from Timo. And a second Odin kill from Upper. 7 years also hauling the big iron behind him, but might not be ready for a timing swing here from Pit. Nerve. Oh, he's gotten up there. That's crazy. Now, though, it's getting a bit spicy. Haunt thrown out does reveal a Mark 7. And Alvin here is ready to back him up. There's going to be some presence, though, from stairs pretty instantly. In a 2 versus 4, these are very hard to fight out from. 7 basically has to do it alone. Plant behind the Sage wall, though. Aftershock comes in a little late. And there it is. It's a 1-for-1. 7 still trying to work the Odin, but paranoia is about the worst case scenario for him here. It doesn't seem to matter. Tuzi's head found magnetic bullets and a chance to even heal himself up with a double face. Does him in. The Sheriff finish off the Darkest. And Core now even up the game.
Unfortunate that honestly just feels like it came down to missed shots for TSM. You know, they worked themselves into a pretty decent position there. GMD gets over the stairs. He gets spotted out by Core on account of the Prowler, but really, who cares? He flashes up both players with the paranoia. TSM fully scale back sight, and they just can't convert the kills. I mean, just really comes down to missed shots only in my mind. That is unfortunate.
Of course, Core obviously already taken that first map away in an absolute slugfest. Pretty deflating for TSM to have to go to Haven, knowing they'd need to reverse sweep to make it into those upper finals. But again, for them, the stakes are not really quite as high. That second seed is already locked up. It's Core that have every reason to be fighting for their lives here for a chance to represent at Ascension. The Tuesday revealed by the Recon Bolden just choosing to get out. This will now allow TSM once more with a minimum investment to get Mount control.
Core are rotating over towards the C site pretty fast. You can see the Nerve has been on the move because Alum is posted up with the Outlaws so close on A. They can just overstack that left side of the map.
Uzi here likely just launching this on contact, but there's also a C's in the hand of his teammates. So one of them going to be the contact player, just off some sound by the looks of things.
Now it looks like TSM, they want to make some noise towards A, just knowing that they could be pushed, that someone from Core could be pushed up here, that they could be overstacking on that C site if they're just going to cut noise and re-hit.
Really heads up though, the shoulder peak.
There's just no reason for Allen to move. There's no reason for the anchors to move. Core in a great position.
Paranoia comes in and they get absolutely flattened. Eventually TSM just runs short on ideas. The double Sentinel comp not able to give them nearly enough of an edge, and a Haunt follow up with the Odin will secure the round. And now you're starting to think, well, at TSM are really wishing they had a bit more of a buffer coming out of that first half in terms of rounds. Going 6-6 may not be enough of them, and they need to call a timeout. That was pretty definitive in terms of a side hit that gets utterly shut down.
That TSM just don't do enough in that mid to late round to give Core any reason to depart from that C site and to force a limb back who was posted up in that A main choke. You know, they threw a dark cover over his way. That was really it. So when the site hit comes in, there's already 3 players here. They're destroyed. They just get caught by that C's. They're flashed up. There's a Vice util still there with that Arcros. That is an absolute flattening of a round.
I mean,
and that's got Core's economy in a really out of control situation, by the way.
Yeah. What does their comp do without Sova util to retake A in that situation where Alum is holding the angle? I think they tried to like throw a smoke towards Rubble to like imply that they were crossing, but because Alum played so close, he knew it was just a feint. I don't know how they're supposed to get that part of the map back with this comp.
I mean, yeah, but they basically just have to hard clear it if they don't have that drone to get the info on an angle like that. Just has to be some kind of multi-swing, you know, or you're trying to like jiggle peek, throw out a boom bot. Not great options, you know, not the greatest options.
Bora just confirming that his team's with him. Respect.
And he wasn't being flanked. Knows that now as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's no one is hiding. There's no. It's good spy checking, honestly. Champions the wrong game. And again, it's a pretty lackluster push for TSM, but we'll forgive it. The weaponry is just not where it needs to be. Stingers and a Bucky. And a... Oh, yeah. Darkest really just waiting for a Q there, but they didn't have control of the front of the site, so couldn't play off that with the fault line. Still guarded. Slow orb being played. There'll be a counter one coming out here from Core, but it's the slow orb that's actually more of an issue for them, so... Wait on that, perhaps. Logan opts to pop it anyway, and away we go. Timotino back in the fight. It's going to be an overdrive here. Alum clips 7 just around a second headshot there. Goddamn. Okay. 7 taken down. Still,
what a stun.
Need to deal with this plant position. Perfect setup. That's disgusting. Another ace for Alum? No, because Logan's a scumbag.
That was a really sick retake. What an ult from Alum. That was crazy. He just... It looked like he stunned everyone up, but I think they just got out of the way, went forward, and just didn't matter because they went straight into his crosshair, and he absolutely deletes everybody. I like this play from TSM, though. If there's one thing that they've displayed today that they are good at, it's coming up with little ideas, little plays in the moment to try to find advantages. They get that one there by collecting the kill on the Darkest, recovering the rifle into the res, but it's still ultimately they're so underarmed compared to Core, who then get that great nightfall off, get back into the site off the back of it.
All right, some rubble action here, but nothing real behind it from TSM. Again, they just want to draw out some of this util.
And how do they get out? That is the question, right? They have the drone since it's early days. Slow for back rubble into the paranoia, but that relay bolt will keep them at bay, so TSM can't immediately scale.
The drone gone. I mean, TP cancelled. God gets to see them coming. And a paranoia puts them back in the box again. Now, the Odin spam can go to work.
Oh, no. That was so much damage. Well, Timotino is going to get the heal from 7, luckily, because he was brought down to, what, like 10, 20 HP, something like that. TSM, after absorbing all of that damage, they at least get the info that there's a stack from Core on A main, so let's just get to C fast and try to get in before they get here themselves.
This is certainly one way to clear the site, right? One way to get into the map. Certainly one of the more expensive options, but Timo's been able to convert the showstopper into a pretty aggressive Hall's presence, but it'll be denied that. Fault line's going to force him back into the site. Now Core can encroach. There is going to be a sage wall, of course, covering the exit from Waterfall.
So they're all going to be
that too.
You know, going from backside. Timotino has a nade for this. Unfortunately, Alvin with those mollies miles away, so it should be easy for Core to get back into the site, but then they have to deal with everyone around.
Nice little trade there. Alum on the swing, expecting a player to be up on side after the aftershock would have cleared them from that corner. Vora, though, the Soberdath can really go to work. What a great ping, and one that can't really be interacted with considering where the fight was at. Alva deals the Darkest up on the side. And that's a well-played round for TSM, but it costs them a lot. Their Al drone doesn't get them out onto A. They've got to use the showstopper for C. The post plant, pretty crisp, and finally we get to see what the Sober's supposed to offer, at least a little bit on this map.
Yeah, that was a really awesome recon. TSM just make a great call there. After fighting over A, they take on so much utility from Core, stuffing them at the choke, but it does give them, the information that there are 3 players there. So if they just gun it over to the C site, probably only have to deal with the Vice. It was a good call, but they have to string more than that together.
Interesting, no smoke actually out for TSM this time. Usually there's just 2 smokes here at the opening of Mount. They want to fight for it though, they push up. So some space is gotten. You have to use an Al drone though. It's a fair bit spent to get here, and the issue for them is in their transition to the site now. Paranoia and Razor Vines will be active. There's no C's to catch them on the way in, but that's definitely the high economy version of Core's hold on C. I don't have that cheeky little position here at B main just yet. Darkest is watching that. Alum also has the cross. So A might be the go here, but again, they've got to respect, the potential of someone to be holding that line. They found out there's no one at rubble. They're going to be able to get in at least.
Now this time it's earlier enough in the round, and also they've left GMD over at C. Whoa, how aggro is he trying to get?
This is kind of sick. All right, gets him 1 kill.
I did not expect that. There's no smokes now for TSM. They're going to have to act quickly before the rotates come in.
Sheer wall. Obviously, had to disrespect it, but Logan was dead, so not a problem. Here's the Rolling Thunder, though, trying to catch him flat-footed. Alan wants to make his way out here. Oh, the relay bolt does connect, but Seven still able to get the bullet storm wound up before it connects. Darkest aware, of course, off to his right would have been the Odin player, but wasn't aware of Timo. TSM fall right on back to rubble here. Force there to be a full commitment from Core onto the site itself, and they'll have to work from the outside back in. Martino's brimming with confidence. Force pings him out to a lot of info. Tuzi! It's his third for the round, and Vor is very low. Now it's a 2 versus 2. This would surely do them in. Seven's got to step up here with a Hunter's Fury. Well placed, definitely gets them rattled up on the side. Seven has to spray around the corner and get a ton of damage now. Tuzi can't even half it, so has to take his 4th kill. Vora, 16 health, knows he should be able to get a shot through the corner, and he does. And it's a hard-fought round. TSM gearing up for another grinder of a late game on Lotus.
Respect to Tuzi for that attempt. That was a nice little 2-man spray down, but TSM played that post plant very well. These are 2 back-to-back really well, called rounds. They're making the right decisions as a team. GMD activates for that very aggressive lurk, and as soon as he goes down, they're not playing with a Viper. They don't have any other smoke, so they have to go very fast, and the only thing they have to cut off an angle is throwing that wall at stairs. So they get right into sight, get the plant down, and then play passive for the Hunter's Fury with the man advantage. That was well done. Alim wants to pick up this op as a way to get back in the game, but is just dealt with immediately by Timotino. Darkest can't even get the trade.
He's gotten himself back into the game. Pretty quiet at the start of this map, and honestly, just was really up against TSM's difficulty in gaining information. Now, though, feels like he's been unleashed. Recon Bolt's going to reveal him. Yep, paint shells to the back of the site. That's going to be 1 for 7. And Timo can head top side. It's got to be a save. Not enough money here for Core. And it's a pretty disastrous scenario to try and play into.
TSM have just suddenly surged back into the game. It's around not as, maybe, not winning off the back of great team decisions or strategy like the others. More so, Timotino just obliterates 2 players on the entry. He hasn't had, either map be just a total display of his dominance like we've seen on plenty of others in this playoff run, but he's certainly still given TSM around here or there where he just takes over, gets that 1 or 2 high impact kills, and makes it very easy for them to win. Ow. Oh my god, even the 3rd. And that's got him just 1 orb away from the showstopper now.
That was beautifully done. Alvin got a little bit too close to the sun there, apparently. Down at the end of the round, but the money's still fine for TSM. And a real swing round. Core here, only able to save 1 rifle in the end. And round after round, they've just been ground down. That's TSM's 3rd in a row. Now, you'd be forgiven for being surprised by that because they were very close, very grindy. Gimondo had absolutely been leading the charge. 21 and 12. In weird situations even, when he's just playing, off the spike location. He's on C, gets himself a random kill here and there. Instrumental. These 2 teams playing each other very, very close, and TSM clearly still have a reason to want to give their best in this game. A commitment here over towards the mound side. Timo's already snapped up Logan, though, and Alan bows out of the fight.
Just a Guardian and 1 Phantom for Core to work with at this point. Now, the Phantom in the hands of Tuzi is worked itself forward on the 1 player there, so Core can focus all of their attention on this side of the map. Beautiful tap. Alan. Darkest just needs to live, and he knows it.
I mean, he's happy to get that information, but in terms of what to do with the Core, don't seem too sure. Silver 2 players, committed to C. And Darkest at best can stall for a moment. Painful, because Logan was the first casualty, so Shield can do the thing. Slow them down for a second. And here it is, showstopper. Just to be sure, Darkest at the very edge of that bloom of damage, but still downed by it. At a paltry 10 health, and Timo wants more action. Tuzi going to deny him, though. We're now looking for another. Vora steps up. It's a trade. Gimon here, paranoia. He knows there's 2 players probably pushing out to mount at that moment. So Core are very much slowed down. This allows for a pretty safe clear of, Baby Door over towards the A side of the map, and Gimon hears all of this. And that relay bolt did not work as intended, did it? Alum down, tried to get into the game. And now Nerve knows he's caught between a rock and a hard place. Pretty prescient spam location. But it's not going to be that easy. And there's not going to be enough time. Into the dark cover as Gimon skirts around it. Nerve will check just far enough to be sure. Gets the Omen and gets out with his life.
Wanted to make sure to pick up that Odin before the round ends. Fair attempt from Core, but TSM do a good job of just executing right back into that B site. Good showstopper from Timotino to get all the space, and Vora was right there and Baby Door to trade after he goes down to Tuesday.
Damn, dude.
Solid stuff. Yeah, this was a good trade from Vora after that.
Monde, consummate lurker at this point. And obviously, you have to call the timeout at this point if you're Core. Both teams looking to upset each other on their map choices, which bodes well if you want a bit of a banger series. Another really competitive half, but I mean, Core have only been able to string those 4 rounds together after losing the pistol. They converted off their gun round, but since then have been a little bit quiet. And we were, it feels like just moments ago, asking how TSM was supposed to get into the map, get into these sites, but with their limited info gathering and space sort of control, they've been able to do so, getting onto that C side. And Alvin has honestly been downed really early in a couple of these rounds. Basically just, Logan, negating that Vice util that would also buy a lot of extra time, to the extent the Darkest is trying to fault line, you know, the expected choke where TSM come through. It's not enough.
One ult in this final round. That's the res for 7. Just looking to see how TSM are going to want to play around that. Timotino had the outlaw there for a second. I mean, the economy isn't that bad for Core. There are 2 players on regen armor though, so I suppose why not. Juicy doesn't need to fully give this space up just yet, but yeah, now will.
Would have been just the dark cover in that choke that made it impossible for Logan to participate. Now though, maybe trying to flash himself out, or at least imply that. Fake TP as well. Did Tuesday see anything with that? I'm not really sure. Either way, it's done very little to deter Vora, but he clearly isn't comfortable with trying to control that orb. Also, though, there's been exploration.
They were making some noise and procking the door there as if they were going to go for some kind of mound split. You know, in the meantime, TSM, they have worked their way up A quite far. Timotino is going to get that shear wall activated with the smoke in front of Darkest face. He has no idea what's going on. And as far as Corno, there could be several TSM players trying to work up towards A right now. And that is eventually going to be the case. They are calling for the full rotate over towards this side.
All of this space this round. The mound take, the push up A.
30 seconds left.
Keep on smoking it out. Using this controller utility, limited as it is. TSM have gotten deep into the map. Now Nerve, though, chooses this moment to spring forth. He cannot complete the second kill, though. Gimon is going to be able to respond from tree. And quickly, Timo thought about taking the upper control, but now it needs to be clear of rubble. There's some action over towards the Baby Door direction. Paranoia followed up on. Logan has to stay tucked for now. Avora definitely has an idea of where he should come from. Alum here, relay bolt over towards Pit. That's the correct decision, but doesn't hit onto Timo. Yet again, that ability doesn't really function as he would have liked. Arcro set up.
One enemy remaining.
Core very much kicked out of the map here. TSM are going to convert on this unless Logan can do the unthinkable. Steel Garden, 10 health. Timo loses his nerve, backs off the corner. He's up against a Vandal and he knows it. Hoping to buy a little bit of time for himself now. Play that corner with the shorty. Logan has to get on the plant though, the defuse rather, and Timo will put him to bed. TSM with a bizarre composition. Double Senti into the map. Looked great on that defense side. And it looks like they did enough with 6 rounds there. They eventually outlast Core.